Right. Welcome back to Harry Thinks He's Better Than Everyone. Uh, this is this week's Euro NASCAR lobby invasion for the AMF thing. Um, but it's a little bit tricky. And now that I'm far enough ahead in the championship, I thought that I might be able to let a few of my secrets out publicly and give you guys a bit of a hand because it can be a kind of a car. Um, so, right, I'll do the track guide and then I've got a couple of setup tricks to show you. That help with the braking a fair bit. Right, so let's get into it here. So this is not my fastest lap. However, it's my most consistent lap. And it'll make sense when I start talking about the curbs, because the curbs on this track are fucked. Um, the the curbing, uh, sorry, I've just fucked up my OBS. There we go. So the curbs here are fucky wucky. Let's talk about the curbing here. So it's this weird double curbing, and basically you want to do this stuff that's green and white is just awful. It's danger. For some reason, in the iRacing telemetry, it cuts your force feedback as well. So it feels shit, but it still shakes your wheelbase, and it's just awful. So just stay off of this stuff at all costs. This here is okay to accelerate on and drive on, but I'd probably avoid braking on it. But we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the end of the lap. But my point being is it's not my fastest lap. I think this is like maybe 2/10 slower, but this is what I'm trying to do each lap because trying to use that green and white stuff is just a nightmare. Like it just kicks the car out. Um, no good. Anyway, so coming up to here, my braking point is sort of just before the 100. The braking points in the Euro NASCAR are probably going to be different from like GT3s or whatever, just because of it's obviously hasn't got the ABS. I've got my brake bias wound all the way back to 48.8, but I'll show you guys that later on what the difference is. But anyway, my braking point is before the 100. Again, I want to stay off this because it's just no good to brake on. So I sort of get right to the edge of it. It gets progressively worse the further you get towards the left. So anything sort of on the inside half of this curbing is okay to brake on. Anything on the outside half I'd avoid. And then if you brake on like half and half, good night. Your car's going to be gone. So yeah, I'd sort of just try to aim for the white line. It's a 2 downshifts here. I stay in third, getting off the brakes sort of before the turn in, trying to strike, just really actually like strike the inside curb but avoiding the sausage. I don't know if this is going to be any better in the cockpit. Just avoiding the sausage a bit. You can see I've got a little bit of, because I hit the sausage, I had to correct a little bit. But yeah, I'd try and avoid the sauce. Just clip the inside curbing here, the red and white stuff. You want to run the car out to this little gap in between this curb and the sausage, this little green strip. It's okay to drive on the sausage. You'll get away with that, and when the car won't lose control, and the green stuff is the best. I don't know. This is probably a bit how you're going, but yeah, I'd aim for sort of the sausage and the green turfy concretey stuff here. You won't if your tires on half and half, you won't lose control. It's okay. You can run that line all the way out. I know I sort of go on the curbing a bit by accident, but you won't get an off track if you straddle this gap. You won't get an off track. So try and do that just to keep the car stable under acceleration, get the most time down there. I'll probably do it better on a different lap. Coming down here, this is a bit of a tricky corner. I brake sort of here, sort of at the 75, I guess, in between the two marker boards. It's a really late apex, so you can see I sort of go in and you'll watch I downshift here and you'll watch the car kick out at the back a little bit. Sort of just helps that little, you just sort of see it set in right there. And it just downshifting sort of halfway through the corner works really well. You don't want to downshift too early, and again, I'll go through this later on what to avoid when downshifting in this. But yeah, a little downshift sort of just before you get to the apex of this works well. You're apexing the corner here really, really late to set you up for the next corner because this is where all your speed's going to come out of. So yeah, really late apex. And I'm still sort of just modulating the throttle. I'm thinking about it just enough to sort of keep me to hit this curb here right at the end. And then you want to keep hugging the inside, just as you're starting to apply a little bit of throttle, just hug the inside here. And then it's bang, snap back over, up onto the green stuff here on the inside of that curbing. Use the track, pull the track, and then as you wash out and slowly apply the throttle, you just want to avoid getting on the green stuff. Just aim for the red curbing here. And then, yeah, you're pretty safe. If you do get onto the green curbing or hell even the concrete, don't try and turn the corner whilst getting off it because it'll unsettle the back end. It'll sort of jump out a bit. You'll need to correct. You'll lose a bunch of time. Drive in a straight line to get off of it. So like if I washed out onto it here, I would keep driving in a straight line until I get off of it and then turn. Because like you've got plenty of room on the exit here. Like you don't use all of this space in the corner. So yeah, get off of the green curb in a straight line, and then once you're off of it, then turn if you wash out wide. But yeah, if you stay on it, then you can sort of use like this here. I'm obviously not on the limit here, so like you've got plenty of room. Stay off that curbing. Honestly, you don't need it. On the way in here, as I said, don't really brake on this stuff, but I get nice and close on the white line. My braking point looks to be just at about the 100. One downshift, two downshifts, and you just want to get the tyres up onto this green curbing here. Be patient on the throttle here because the exit is crucial. Do not get on this outside stuff here. Don't get in this green and white. That's what will unsettle you. Just get on this red stuff. Or hell, if you can avoid it, none at all. Get back off of the curbing, or most of it, just onto the line. You can see I start braking just about here. Get off of that curbing before you get on the brakes, because otherwise you sort of, your wheel, you'll just be left, right, trying to control the car and the brakes whilst you're on that. So I just avoid it completely. So in sequence, this is how it looks real time. Downshift, turning in on the curb, late on the throttle, out onto the curbing there. Braking sort of, where are we braking? Sort of just before where this red stuff ends, I guess. Where does that look like in the cockpit? Yeah, there you go. Braking there. So yeah, just about once the pillar is, obviously it's subject to your FOV, but sort of once the pillar gets to the end of the red stuff here. And this is probably the trickiest sequence here. So a single downshift for me, I usually, like on a corner like this, at this speed, any other track or any other corner, I'd probably downshift again, but I found a lot more success just sticking it in third. Avoid the sausage curb because it'll bounce you out. And again, it's another one where you just got to be a little bit patient on the exit. And just only this half of the red stuff here. If you wash out here, the arse end starts fucking bouncing around, and it's a nightmare. And that's it. It's a short lap. It's like 54 seconds, I think my time was. 54 seconds every single lap, bar one was 54 seconds. I'll have a look at this. That's why this one was slower. I'll find a lap where I sort of get unsettled on the curbing and show you why to avoid it. Here we go. So this is early on in the race. So I was a bit wide on this corner and I gassed up a bit early. And the big problem here is I hit the sausage curb and then get out onto this. You just see, it doesn't look like much. Probably because it's just chase cam things, honestly. If I get a little bit closer, it might be better. But I get on this green curb while under acceleration. And the car's just dancing about. I'm completely not in control here. In fact, I even get off the throttle. Because I'm just a madman. But you'll probably see on the ball. There you go. The car's just, it's so unsettled. You can just tell it just doesn't look right. No good. I'll see if I can find another example. I thought I'd quickly chuck this in here. This is what I was talking about before with this curbing. If you get onto the green stuff here to drive in a straight line, and then start turning. You can see I sort of just, I'm at this point and I'm like, right, I've got the wheel relatively straight, just getting off the curbing, and then once I'm off, then I apply the steering wheel. Just trying to turn there will just ruin you on the curbing. So that's just a little example of that. Here's another good one of that bottom curbing here, just being completely out of control. Like it's horrible. You just want to avoid it at all costs. It's just nasty. Right, the big thing with the setups that I wanted to mention was the brake bias.
The pit lane speed limit is 60 kilometers per hour.
My iPlay, however, in-car adjustments on the black box, you can see your brake bias here. Same for most cars. Oh my fucking god, can't fix your fucking audio. Turn the car sound down. How many times do I have to fucking tell you? Anyway, what I'm saying is my top right hand side here, you can see that I've got in-car adjustments, got the brake bias in the black box, and then I've also got mine on my overlay there on this relative top left, bottom right hand side. Basically, go and bind an increase and a decrease button, rotary wheel, whatever you have, to something, because you're going to need it the more you race. It's very handy to be able to change on the fly. And later on, when I fix my fucking audio and turn that down too, I tell you to turn the brake bias down. So hopefully I've fixed the audio now. Last time. The biggest thing about your brake bias is the further you go back, the more braking power you have. And it also shifts the braking to the rear wheels. The percentage number is the amount of percent of your braking between the rear and the front in your front wheels. So at the moment it's set to, when you first load in, it's 56% of the braking is done by the front wheels. Now obviously if you're having trouble locking up like this, it means that you probably want to shift some to the rear wheels. So in this car, we actually wind it all the way back to the very back at 48.8%. Now what that means is that obviously more of the braking, it's, I'm not very good at maths, 51.2% of the braking is now being done by the rear wheels instead, which means no front lockups. Means rear lockups if anything, and rear lockups are a lot more easy to, I suppose, control than front lockups, because front you go straight on, you can't do much about it. Rear lockups, at least you can still steer, which is where I see a lot of people going wrong with this car. So I'm just warming up the tyres a little bit just to get some, I suppose, accurate braking points. Now,
your lap time was 56.8.
But I tried that earlier. It turns out I must have something bound in OBS to make it stop and start the recording, so we won't be doing that because it was a nightmare. So instead, actually maybe it wasn't. I might be lying to myself. Who knows? Let's just try down the back stretch up here. So I'll show you the difference using relatively the same brake power. So this is on the 56%, which is what you load into. And braking into the last corner will, on the downhill here, will probably exaggerate how much we exacerbate it. Yeah, no, turns out it was actually bound to stop the recording. I can't be bothered changing it, so I'll just do some live demos. So I'll do one at the end of the Jesus, you can tell I'm not used to driving on the 56. So I'll do one at the end of the straight here. So
you'll need to slow down to give back the time gained.
So we'll do like 80-90% brake pressure here whilst downshifting. And yeah, it's still locking up. And that doesn't let me steer at all. So now I'm going to wind the brake bias all the way back to 48.8, which is what I run in the race, or quali, or practice. Do the same thing here, just after the cones maybe, just before the uphill section. So much more control under the car, and you'll get it stopped so much faster anyway. So give it a go if you haven't tried it, and I can guarantee you it's so much better. Just try winding it back. You'll find that you're able to brake so much earlier, much better. The only caveat is that through putting more braking into the rear tyres. It'll heat them up, especially on the European tracks. This time of year anyway, where the track degrees in this session is like 41 degrees. You'll notice that about halfway through the race, things will start to get a little bit more slippery. So just brake an extra like 10 metres earlier, just to sort of smooth your entries and exits and stuff like that. And you'll find that you don't actually lose that much time. It's definitely worth the trade-off.
You're outside of track limits there.
Don't fall into the trap though of just winding the brake bias back in every car. It's quite specific to this that it lets you go all the way back, and it's actually essentially the fastest way to drive it. In most other cars, it will make the rear really unstable under brakes, and it'll be undrivable. A benefit of moving the brake bias backwards is that you get more rotation whilst trail braking, which obviously it helps you when you're in NASCAR, but for other cars, if you do it too much, you'll find that as soon as you start braking and turning, the rear you'll just lose the rear immediately. So don't just wind it back thinking, oh yeah, better braking and more rotation sounds fun. It's always a balance. So yeah, the only exception to that is in the rain, but I'm going to do another rain guide later on about that. We've got no more rain than we're in NASCAR circuits this season, so hopefully that helps. And yeah, good luck.